Okay, I'm not quite sure if this is very clear to you, but my name is Noor bin Shams. I'm 25 years old. Very much, I've graduated from school maybe 10 years ago, 9 to 10 years ago. I'll give you a little background of what it is that I've been doing since I graduated from school. So I started into events management. As soon as I graduated, I've organized my first event at the university itself. Later on, I moved into public relations. So it wasn't something that I was studying. It was just something that really resonated with me. I had the skill for it. And basically what I did for these events was I would try to gain sponsorships. So it started off in my first event with gaining 500 BDF sponsorship, moving on to the Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Award with 15,000 Bahraini dinars, alhamdulillah. And then I'd say one of my proudest moments was working for the event under the Supreme Council of Health. It was under the patronage of the late Prime Minister. And alhamdulillah, we were able to reach our target of more than 52,000 Bahraini dinars. All in sponsorships, exhibitions. It was really an amazing event that I was able to see myself grow from 2013 all the way to 2018. I got my first job, official job at O'Brien Hill. That was in 2019, and that's when I got into a little bit of marketing. So I did management in events, I did PR, and then somehow I got reeled into digital marketing, which is like social media content management, dealing with a couple of clients, trying to promote their platforms, their products, their services. Basically, I had no idea where or how I got to where I was, and I had this kind of like crisis, like, who am I? What am I doing? Did I just end up here, I don't know, by sheer luck? And so I decided in 2021 that it's about time I did something for myself. And after a lot of soul digging and soul searching, that's how I founded The People. So with a raise of hands, how many of you guys know The People? Nice, okay, good job. I'll tell the marketing team they did an amazing job. Okay, just so that I can understand, how many of you guys have actually been to The People or volunteered at The People? Nice, nice. Okay, that's amazing. I'd love to talk to you later on just to hear your feedback, see how everything is going on with the current season. So, what is The People? I'll give you a very quick brief because this is not really the reason why I'm here to talk to you. There's a lot of things that I'd like to share on how, alhamdulillah, starting from very humble beginnings to the very humble present. The People is a non-for-profit. It's a mobile library, the first of its kind, where we don't wait for people to come to books. What we've done is we've done our best in order to attract the people to coming to reading spaces. So that's kind of like by creating different events, engaging with everyone around Bahrain. So more than 800 books have been donated. All of our books are donated. We've got an amazing lineup of sponsors. Is there like a static? There's a static, right? There's an amazing array of sponsors from Ministry of Youth and Sports, IKEA, Local BH, the digital magazine, and different properties such as Water Garden City, Marasi Beach, where we opened the first beach library, and now GFH Properties. Also, it's shout out, thank you to Kifah Printing. We've had a total of over 100 volunteers, and that was something that shocked us, that a lot of people still wanted to volunteer and give their time to a non-for-profit. But that's where we are today. And like I said, this is not something that I really want to get too deep into. What I'd like to share with you all is a very, very close friend of mine. Can we go to the next slide, please, Eileen? Okay, so we have this case study that I've done of a very, very close friend of mine. Now, when I would see her, I'd see a little bit of potential, but in reality, she had a lot of things that she really, really had to work on. So I've gotten her permission for this, and I really do want to share it with you guys. So she's a B grade student. What I mean by this is sometimes she'd get a 60s, 70s, If she studied, if she put in a little bit of effort, she'd get her grades up to the 80s. She was addicted to sleep. She loved to sleep all the time. The longest that she's ever slept was for 2 days. She only got up to go to the restroom, okay? And then she went back to sleep, okay? To her, dreaming was better than reality. Her dreams were amazing. So she's very forgetful. So she never did her homework on time. She always forgot her books, notebooks, textbooks, her diaries. She was extremely, extremely forgetful. She'd forget that she'd even have an exam or a test if it were not for the group of friends that would actually remind her. She's a procrastinator. How many of you guys here are procrastinators? Okay, okay. She was, all right, guys. Okay, so she was the biggest procrastinator I've ever known, okay? There was nothing that she wouldn't do last minute. Her face was glued to the TV. She loved drama series at that time. I think it was, I'm not sure, like Castaway something, Desperate Housewives. So she would basically ditch friend gatherings, family gatherings, just so that she can actually watch her TV series. Back at that time, there was just NBC4. So it wasn't like Netflix on demand where you guys get to watch everything. You had to actually time it right. Last but not least, she was never on time. So she never, do you guys have assemblies? No. You don't have assemblies? No. Okay. Well, back in Al Noor International School, that's where I went. My siblings actually came to this school, Reem and Mohammed bin Shams, but I'm an Al Noor graduate. So we'd have, okay. You just started something. Okay, so she missed every single assembly. There was not a single assembly that she attended. She was always late for exams, basically for everything. Can we go to the next slide, Irene, please? Okay, so there was really little potential that you would see in her. She didn't seem like she wanted to put in a lot of that effort. And the reason why I'm sharing this case study that I've done of this very, very dear friend is because that person was actually me, okay? So, who saw it coming? Okay, so a few of you guys. So, that person, that forgetful procrastinator who slept for 2 days, where dreams were better than reality, really didn't know which direction she was going, that was me up until my senior year, 12th grade, okay? And by that, I mean like by the second semester. So at that point, a lot of my teachers were like, Noor, what are you really doing? I was a science major back then. What are you really doing? Real life is much harder. Your grades are okay. They're good, okay? I was a B-level student, but still, the world, all right, thank you. That's much better. Dad, all right, guys? All right, so life is much tougher. Life demands that you study the right thing so that you can get the right job and are able to pay your bills, your family bills, your future family bills, and all that. So I really had no sense of urgency up until maybe May, June, and my senior year. And by that time, everyone told me it was kind of too late. My grades they're etched in stone, and that's it. And this is where this is the reason why I chose this quote. It's good to learn from your mistakes. It's better to learn from other people's mistakes. And this is why I'm here today. I really want to share with you what my journey through school was, but how things turned over as soon as I graduated. I know that we're spending, 12, 13 years in institutions where we're studying every day, going from class to class, and you feel like, these are my grades, this is me, I don't think I'm going anywhere. I don't think I have it figured out. So up until May, June, right before my final exams, IGCSEs, I was completely lost. I had no idea what it is I wanted. all I knew was that I hated maths, and I was a science major student. So by that time, that's the only thing that I knew. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so here's the talking points that we'll be discussing today. Number one, it's awareness. 2, understanding. 3, development. And 4, resilience. There's a lot of activities here. I might be asking a couple of the people from the audience, okay, a couple of questions for some of the activities, but I really do hope that you guys understand this is all from real life. These are all the experiences that I've went through in order for me to bridge the gap between the old Noor and the Noor that you see today. I'm currently working in a huge real estate company. I have my own organization, which is The People. It's been running for a year, and sponsors are lining up. Volunteers are thankfully, alhamdulillah, lining up as well. Things are going great. But what happened? What was the story that happened in between? Okay, can we have the slide after that, please? Okay, so here's activity number 1, okay? If you guys want this slide, I'd be more than happy to share it with you. But really, I really do hope that you guys take into consideration everything that we'll be talking about today. It's very important for you guys right now. How many of you guys are in grade 9? Okay, grade 10? 11, 12. How many of you are in grade 11? And grade 12, seniors? Okay, awesome. So, it's very important for you guys right now. Now, those of you who are in grade 11, you have an advantage of having almost a year for you guys to prepare. For those of you in senior years, all right. So, for those of you in your senior years, it's still not too late. So, number 1, you guys have to try to understand, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And I don't mean strengths as in I'm good at chemistry, I'm good at, I don't know, solving maths puzzles or whatnot. What I mean by strengths is, how many of you guys are confident public speakers? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, another question. How many of you guys find it easy for other people to open up to you? Nice. Okay, so that's good communication and good listening skills, so that's a strength. All right, another question. Let's tap into more strengths. How many of you guys find it very easy for you to put a study schedule and actually stick to it? Nice, nice. Okay, guys, you have to be honest with yourselves. You have to be honest, because when you're answering this, when you're answering these questions, can I have the attention of the group of students over there, please? Yes. Guys, when you're going to be answering this, it's going to be between you and yourself, so there's no one to say, no, you're lying, or this is true. You just have to be truthful with yourself. Let's go to a couple of weaknesses. How many of you were like me, who are extremely forgetful, and you have no idea how you forget everything? Nice. Okay, how many, we've already done the procrastinator. How many of you, let's see. How many of you have no idea where it is that you're going in the future and what it is you're doing? Nice. So I'm assuming the opposite. You guys know the direction that you're going. How many of you have a complete and full understanding of what it is that you guys will be doing in the future? Okay, that's nice. So number 1, the first thing that I did when I realized I'm graduating so soon was that I identified all of my weaknesses that you guys saw, but I also lined up all of my strengths. Okay, my strength was I was a very confident student. I wasn't always like that way. I was very quiet. You would never hear about me. I think half of my school didn't even know I existed, by the way. Up until grade 11, grade 12, and I was like, you know what, this is me, I think it's fine. So I grew up in grade 11 and 12 to be very confident. I had amazing communication and listening skills. Whenever you'd give me a project, I would be able to visualize all of that. So when I noticed that I have a lot of strengths and I have a lot of weaknesses that I don't really like, That's where I noticed, hey, I'm a science student. I don't even like science. I made this choice back in grade 9, and I'm just realizing that it really doesn't fit in with my strengths or my weaknesses. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so activity number 2, you guys can scan this if you guys can, or there's a link. I'm sure, I mean, how many of you have ever done personality tests? Raise your hand. How many of you guys have done the 16personalitytests.com? Okay. All right, so this link, this is a standard and it's completely free. It's there all the time. It's been years and they just keep on incrementing onto the website. So it's called 16personalities.com. I won't be able to go through all of your results. That is something I love to do, by the way. I tend to do that with my volunteers. I have them take the test, I understand who they are, and then we try to place them in the correct department that fits their interests and their strengths. So, how many of you, so let's just go through what the 16 personality tests are. There are 4 different categories. You'd have 16 different results, 16 different combinations. How many of you feel like you're extroverts? Do you guys know what extroverts are? How many of you feel like that it's very easy for you to socialize and for you to talk with new people? If you feel like you're more of an extrovert, raise your hand. How many of you feel like you prefer to stay by yourself, or a small group of friends, you don't like to socialize that much? How many of you identify as an introvert? Okay, all right, so that's the first thing. Can I have the students over there please pay attention? Yes, you guys, yes, you, yes. I see you. Anyways. Okay, so extroverts, introverts. Now this is a scale, so I'm sure you guys know what an ambivert is, but it's really just a scale of in between. It's not this, or it's not zeros and ones, it's a little bit in between, so you'll get that percentage. Okay, let's go to the next thing. How many of you guys tap into your intuition? You just go like, I feel this is the right thing to do. How many of you guys are intuitive? Okay. And how many of you guys feel like you're very logical in your decision making? Raise your hands. Very logical. Okay? So that's the second part of the 16 personality test. And I hope that you guys are keeping track of these questions after you guys do get your results, because slowly you guys are starting to identify yourselves. Third question. How many of you guys like to plan 1 week ahead? You don't look for, let's say 1 month max. You like to plan, this is what I'm going to be studying now because I think there's something over there in the future. Okay, so we have a couple of hands raised up over there. How many of you guys think like 10, 20 years ahead? Okay, let's not say 10, 20. How many of you guys think, when I'm in university, this is what I'm going to be doing, and when I work, which you guys aren't close to working, but I'm going to be like a corporate woman with like a suitcase or something. How many of you guys think that ahead of the future? Okay, so as you guys can see, you guys are very different from each other. You guys might be sitting next to your friends, but you have these small traits. So what we call this is, we call it judging or prospecting. So if you have a prospecting personality trait, which you'll get to understand from the 16 personalities test, is that you think ahead. You have a vision. You see it, but not necessarily how you're going to get there. This is something that you guys are going to have to work on. But the judging, on the other hand, they know how to work on things. They see things now, they put closer targets, and then they reach to their vision. That it takes them a lot more time for them to actually grow in their heads. So I'm just trying to give you guys an example that there's so much that you guys can learn and understand about yourself. As long as you're aware that, hey, I'm here today, I'm in grade 11, I'm in grade 12, I need to try to figure myself out. And then you move to the understanding, where you try to break down your personality just a little bit for you to really identify, do I think I'm social, or is it just because I'm peer pressured towards? So this is something else you guys have to say. So for those of you who said you're extroverts, do you feel that way, or is it just because you feel peer pressured to go up and go talk to other people, where in reality at home you'd rather be very quiet? So these are very, very important questions that will help you a lot in making choices in the future about your studies, the type of environment that you want to work in as well. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so I want to see who has their life figured out, their 5 years plan figured out. Okay. Who is actually serious about it? Because I'm going to ask you guys a lot of questions. Who's actually serious about it? Okay. Are you serious about? No, there's a hesitation. You know what you want to do in 5 years. Can I actually, do you mind if you would come here on stage just a little bit, please? Let's give her a big round of applause. Hurry up, onto the staircase all the way here. Hello, what's your name? Sarah. Do you guys all know Sarah? Yeah. Can we give a huge round of applause for Sarah? Okay. All right, Sarah. So the reason why I called you on stage is because you said that you know very well what it is that you'd like to do in your future, right? You have things planned out. Can you tell me how you had things planned out? And then if you would like to share in brief, what are those milestones or the plans that you've set in place?
Hi everyone. So I did a little bit of research before figuring out what I want, and I saw that I have some strengths in some certain subjects, and based on that I chose the major that I want to achieve, which is data science or artificial intelligence. So I want to finish university in data science major or computer science, then master's and probably PhD.
Inshallah. That's an amazing plan. It's very nice to see that you have an inclination towards a new type of science. But Sarah, I have a question for you. Why did you choose data science and AI?
Well, I feel that it may be influenced from my parents because they're in the computer science field, and I constantly hear about the new data science field, and I have some of my cousins in that. I tried doing some research in my extended essay about data science, and I love the subject. That's why I chose it.
Okay, so you said that you feel like your environment, and you feel like you've done a couple of subjects and you like it. So why do you like it?
I feel it's like fun because it's like a new thing that everyone, like new terms, big data, data science, stuff like, oh, I thought about this, and then it pops out, advertisement, and it's like, I want to know really what goes behind the system and what goes behind the things that happen up front.
Okay, why are you interested in knowing things that are behind the systems or in new things?
Because I feel if I'm using my phone without knowing what is basically happening behind there and what people are taking my data and using it for, I feel like I'm sitting there not knowing anything. I just want to know.
Why is it important for you to know?
Well, it's just an interest.
Why is it an interest?
Good question. It's an interest because I like to know everything. I don't want to sit and people like, why did I get this advertisement? I want to know, like, how did it happen?
But why do you want to know?
I'm going to answer I don't know now.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sarah. Can we have a big round of applause for Sarah? Okay, so this exercise, okay, is called the 5 whys. And you guys are going to have to be very honest with yourselves. And if you feel that you can't be honest, you can have someone that you trust. Of course, not a friend that nitpicks and a friend who's too, their ego is way up high. You don't want someone asking you, but why do you like it? Like, seriously? No, that's not the kind of vibe we want. What we want is someone who asks, like we asked Sarah, genuine questions. I really want to know, why does it interest you? You might think, why is it important? Is it just important so that we can humble ourselves? No, because if Sarah knows why new things interest her, then she will know the reason on how to pick new things for her to get into. If Sarah is able to understand why she wants to know a lot more about the things that she uses, she will understand what exactly in data science pushes her. So that when she forgets, when she's working 10 years down the line and she's bored and she's like, why did I choose this? She has a reason to remember because she reflected back on it. So for all of you guys who think you have a plan, or for all of you guys who, honestly, I think most of us are kind of like standing on shaky grounds, but always ask yourself why. Why am I doing this? Why do I feel anxious inside? Why does this give me anxiety? Just ask yourself these very tough and honest questions, and ask this question repeatedly. This is why it's called the 5 whys. It's not just like a why. It's for you to really dig into yourself and for you to try to understand. This is an amazing exercise, especially when, for example, you have a friend or a student, family members who are sad. Ask them indirectly. Don't make it like, hey, I'm going to use the 5 why exercises on you guys. No. You got to do it very subtle. Like, okay, why did it make you upset? Why is it important what your mom thinks? Why is it important that she feels sad? Why do you love her? When you get deep into that, you would feel more at peace because you've gotten to understand what really clicks and what really makes you turn and what really motivates you. So I really do hope that you guys take this exercise. It is something for you guys to really kind of spend a little bit of time on. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so activity number 4, manifesting these visions. So you have the present you. You guys know your strengths. You guys know your weaknesses. I definitely identified those. I knew where I was right now. But future me, and I realized I can be anything that I want. You guys can be anything that you want. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret that you've heard a million times, but I'm hoping for some reason that you would actually listen to me, a 25-year-old, about it. Because you guys, 100%, you guys have listened to this before. It does not matter what you guys are doing now. I'm going to be very honest with you. Where you are today, I'm being very, very honest. You will forget these memories. Because you're going to be moving on to making new and better ones. You're going to be making harder choices. If you think school is hard, if you think waking up, coming to school, and going to back-to-back classes is hard, then you're in for a real shock. Because right now, I'm broke because I had to pay for my car insurance, I had to pay for all of my traffic convictions, I had to change the entire set of tires in my car, all due in the same month somehow. Right now, I'm here, and I'm okay with it. Where I was before when my teachers said, no, this direction that you're going for, you know, if you can't do this, you can't do anything else, well, things pass. And life is just going to get tougher. So if you guys have a plan for yourself, if you guys have the confidence in that this is where I am today, but I can be anything I want tomorrow. This is where you have to manifest these to come to life. So when we talk about future you, so in the box, on the box above, this is where you're going to put your strengths and weaknesses that you've done in the previous exercises. But for future you, what do you see yourself? For example, I saw myself holding a suitcase, wearing very formal clothes. That was kind of like my style. I wanted to work in a corporate. I don't know why. I mean, it's just something that came into my head. I have my own desk, my own office. What else? What else did I envision for myself? I envisioned that I'd have my own team because I feel very confident that I can work with them. So I wrote in over there, I want to be in my own team. I also reflected that I like events. And when I knew that I liked organizing things, this is where I said, okay, I spent my life studying science, IGCSEs. You guys know how tough that is. I did chemistry, bio, and IT. But then I made that choice of shifting everything. Because I knew where I was and I knew where I wanted to be. And getting into science like architecture or being a doctor or a dentist, I mean, that didn't resonate with me. What did was the persona that I told you. So I was like, I can get that if I shift into business. Okay, but no, you have no idea what business is. I have no idea what stocks, liabilities, assets were, nothing. I didn't even know what commerce was. Because all I knew was, ATP, mitochondria, and all of these very sciencey things. So when I did that shift, I'm not gonna lie, I knew where I had to go, and I started my first day of university at UOB. I started crying. I was like, what did I get myself into? I was always not that great in my studies, and I'm going to continue not developing in my studies. I was the first in my classes up until like the second year at University of Bahrain. All of them had a commerce background. I was new. But this was something I wanted, I was interested in, I liked management. So when I did that choice, I did that flip, although it was scary for me to do, and it didn't make sense for my teachers. Luckily, my parents, I mean, it did make sense to them, alhamdulillah, but a lot of you guys might not, your parents might not really understand. And that's a bigger and tougher challenge for you to deal with. But the idea is, I drew a picture of what I wanted, and I wanted to manifest that. I wanted to bring that to life. So I needed to make small changes in my habits and in how I do certain things. For example, future me is always on time. Future me can wake up in the morning, she can go out cycling and whatnot and exercise before going to work. So when I wrote that down, it didn't happen immediately, but this is where I am today. So what I did in university was I took classes at 8 a.m. I had a choice to take them in the afternoon, but I was like, I want to be a morning person. So I chose classes 8 a.m. Right now today, every weekend, my family and I, we wake up 4:30 a.m. and we go out cycling. It's a choice. We grew that habit because that's what I wanted for myself. What do you guys want for yourselves? How do you envision your future? How do you picture the future that you have? And then slowly try to work towards that. Can we go to the next slide? All right, so some of you guys who said that you're judging and you're not prospecting, back to the 16 personalities test. So some of you guys said you can't think that ahead of time, right? You can't really envision. So this exercise is actually for you. It's for the systematic thinkers. If you guys have no idea where it is that you want to go or how you see yourself whenever you're 25 or 30, perhaps try this exercise. How many of you have done the SWOT analysis in business? Okay, nice. So it contains the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, what if I told you you can do that, but not for a business, for your own project that is you? So for the systematic thinkers, now that we've already highlighted strengths and weaknesses, what are the opportunities in your path that your family are able to provide you, that the government is able to provide you, such as different ministries of youth and sports, labor, for example, the NSSA, you said you wanted data science, so you would put opportunities. NSSA, right now it's a growing industry and people are actually interested in that, so that's an opportunity out there in the market. And then you have threats. Okay, my threat is that, well, there's a lot of people who are probably going to be studying data sciences, so I don't have anything to differentiate me. How can I differentiate myself? And then you'd kind of like go back and forth with the opportunities and threats. So this is just for you systematic thinkers who can't really, or you don't really feel the need for you to envision yourself 20, 30 years from now. This is something for you to take it step by step. It's kind of like something a little bit more short term. Next slide, please. Okay, so Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. I've seen a lot of things since I've graduated from school. I don't expect that this session would actually help you guys understand everything that it is that you're going to do, but I just want to tell you that if you feel like, is this it for me? This is who I am. I mean, this is me. I've been here in school for 12 years. This has got to be me. I'm going to tell you that once you have a plan, you understand there's that awareness, and you do work on developing yourself, then you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take that literal first step and say, you know what, I'm going to try to put 4 alarms to wake up so that I can be a morning person, or whatever it is that you actually want to work on as a part of your strengths and weaknesses. All right, so this is actually the last slide, and I just want to talk to you guys about a little bit of resilience. So throughout my career, when I tried to develop myself to get from past me to future me, I've done a lot of things. I've participated in so many different events, free of charge, just volunteering, kind of like to get that experience. I'm an Injaz alumni, Injaz ambassador. I gave my time for these institutions, for these organizations, because they helped me get closer to my dream.
But it wasn't really that easy. So I just want to tell you a couple of very short stories on how I almost wanted to give up several times, but it really was a combination of confidence, of positivity, of reassurance, of self-love that really helped me kind of like get back up. For example, I spent maybe 1 year participating in the Injaz company program. How many of you have been in the company program? Okay, nice. So we actually won the nationals and we made it to the regionals. Funny story. The regional competition happens anywhere across the Arab countries. So as they were going to announce the winners, me and my teammates were like, imagine this year you come in Bahrain. And then they're like, you guys are staying in Bahrain. So we won. We didn't get to travel, unfortunately, but we got to compete with all of these Arab countries. And we put in so much effort. I mean, I'm talking to you, like everyone was like, Bahrain's gonna win. Bahrain University is gonna win. They're definitely we were like a threat. You know how like these drama, like we were a threat. Like everyone was like, they've got on the bag. We didn't win any prize, not first, not second, not third, not any of the things that were on the side. We worked for 1 year. I haven't seen my family for a long time. I would wake up at 10 a.m. I would come back home at 1 a.m. because we were working closely with our mentors at GPIC. And then we lost. I was crying, I was smiling, pretending I was fine on stage, where I was like crying. And then I went to the hotel lobby and I was like covering myself, I was like crying there. But I told myself, I was like, okay, the next day, okay. Did I waste all this time? No. I mean, the reason why I'm able to talk to you guys here today is because of all of the training I received from that 1 year. Just because I lost does not mean everything that I've gained. I was able to sit in a table full of CEOs from around the Arab region, confidently, like, yes, I'm the head of marketing. Okay, these are my files, these are the documents, negotiating, debating. I gained a lot from that experience, even though it felt really horrible. Sometime shortly after, I ran for the student elections at University of Bahrain. I'm always late for everything, so I was also late to apply for that. But I was the only student who was not backed up by different university clubs or previous student council members. So it was very, very tough for my team and I. And we lost by 3 votes. So the entire University of Bahrain, made up of more than 45,000 students, all of them know that I lost by 3 votes. I was devastated. You have like hundreds of people coming to me like, Noor, we really wanted you to win. Still, people till today remember me. I graduated in 2018. People are still coming to me, we wanted you to win. From the faculty, people who are not in University of Bahrain, like, it was such a big impact on me. It really did shake my confidence for a day. Because the next day, I went to the salon, I dyed my hair, I cut my hair, and on Sunday, I came back to the university and everyone was shocked. They were like, okay, we expected her to actually crumble and break down. But what I'm trying to tell you is, sometimes you just have to be resilient. You have to say, do I really want people to see that? I mean, I lost the student elections that I put in a lot of effort and maybe I should have won whatever, but it's okay. I felt brand new. I mean, yes, I did cut my hair and everything, but it felt amazing. It felt amazing to know that such things can't really defeat me. Such bad grades or such losses in competitions or losses in things that seem to have value at the time. Just the last short story. It was the Supreme Council of Health event. It was a huge mega event. It was under the Council of Health, Supreme Council of Health, Ministry of Health, NHRA, WHO was there. So I was organizing really huge event. It was under the patronage of the late Prime Minister, Allah Rahmah. Okay, so I was the only person, so my team, PR and exhibitions and registration, that was just me. So I had to deal with all of those things. The last 4 months of this 1 year and a half journey, I was able to bring in someone with me. I had experience in PR, I had experience in exhibitions, but I underestimated registration. So when we were there at the event, I'm not even kidding you, we're there at the event and my registration team was not briefed on a good enough plan by me because they're my team, right? I underestimated the whole thing. Okay, so you have 4 counters. I didn't put a good enough plan. I was just like, you guys can have these badges, you can have these, and you can have, that's it. We didn't even do them by alphabetical order. I have no, like, I don't know, it just does not make sense, the plan that I kept in. So can you imagine 300 angry doctors and managers and seniors from huge organizations, from the, like I said, the WHO, the NHRA, you're talking about CEOs and directors, they're standing there in the lobby, they're all angry. Why are they standing? I mean, the lobby wasn't even that big. It was like, this was the space. Can you imagine fitting 300 people here? They're all waiting for their badges so that they can get into the conference. And I was there trying to like compose myself, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and lock myself in there and let my team just figure it out. Okay, I think that's what I should do. I'm gonna cry right now. I'm gonna cry. What should I do? Everyone's angry. My entire years of hard work, I have no idea what it is that I'm supposed to do. And I just was like, no, you're staying. This can't beat you. This can't defeat you. Just stay and figure it out. So I stayed. It was very, very difficult. At the end, we just had everyone go into the opening session without their badges, and we were like, yeah, we'll take care of that once you come out. Just, everyone just like go inside the session, your guys are already late. And then of course what we did was we put a short-term and a long-term plan. Okay, the short-term was, okay, now that we have a little bit of time on our hands, let's set up a new registration desk and let's see how we can plan things. So that went well. But people still remembered how horrible the service was. I'm talking about horrible service. So there was this study. I don't think I have, do I have time to say the study? Anyways, it was a study that says it's not really first impressions. It's not really the first impression that's important, it's actually the last one. It was a case study on dentistry. Set group number A, they had an amazing experience throughout. The last 5 minutes was pain. Set B, group number B, test B, they had a horrible experience for the first duration, and the last 5 minutes was easy peasy. Guess what? B, even though they had a very bad first impression, they rated the whole overall experience as the best. So what I did was, I told the volunteers we're buying 300 flowers. We're going to write a note from the registration team, and we're going to say, thank you for your patience. So the next day we come in, 300 roses being distributed all around. It looked amazing. People in the elevator were like, aren't the registration team so amazing? This event is so... I was just like, you guys literally cursed me the day before. Did you guys... I handed out you a single rose and you guys forgot the horrible experience? Yeah, they did. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is things may seem to be very extremely bad, but things change, people move on, we all move on. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for having me today. I really hope that you guys are able to take something from this. I didn't want this to be about Noor bin Shams. I wanted this to be about all of the things that no one told me, but I was able to learn. I hope you learn from your mistakes, but like Warren Buffett said, it's better for you guys to learn from other people's mistakes. So thank you guys, and do we have time for questions? Do we have time for questions? Yes? Okay, so I have no idea what time is it. Irene, could you let me know please what time it is? 11:23. Can we take like 3-5 maximum questions? Okay. Okay, so who has the first question? Yalla Deshti, where Deshti? Yalla Deshti. Yalla Deshti. Stand up. Big round of applause for Deshti. Okay. لا خليك منه. ايوه. انزين عطني يعني هل انت يعني قاعد تفكر في نفسك ان ترى اوكي I have strengths بس ما ضل عندي weaknesses؟
لا بس قاعد اقول يعني
best guy is good. And then if that person thinks, that person thinks he has no weaknesses, then that person probably needs to do the 5 whys. Why does he think he has no weaknesses? And if it goes back to ego or overconfidence, then, I mean, there's little for you to do to that person except humble him through tragic experiences. But if that person ever had, if someone who claims they have no weaknesses ever had a bad experience and it still lingers with them, then that could be a weakness that they have, that they need to move on. There's always something that you guys can develop in yourselves. So thanks, Deshi, for that very smart question. Okay. Any more questions? La mana to your recommendations. It's good, but Yalla guys, seriously, because if you guys don't have any questions, I'm sure a lot of you guys have somewhere. Yalla. Okay, last call. Yes.
Let's say I can only see my future, but I don't know what I'm going to do right now. So what would your advice be?
Okay, my first question would be, where are you now and how different is your future? Very different. Okay. My advice would be for you to set in a couple of different plans on how you can probably get there. And if it's very overwhelming for you, because we do want to make this a very easy and nice process, if it feels very overwhelming, instead of thinking 20 years ahead, divide it into 2. So if you have a vision from now to 20 years, divide that into 10. Okay? What is half of your vision? Put it there. And then what is half of that? And put it there. And then try to work towards that gap. I mean, sometimes it's very hard for you to say, well, I studied science. How did Noor get into business? Well, it took me a couple of changes to do along the way, but I did get there. So I hope that helps you. Break your vision in half, and then into another half, until it's an easy chunk for you to actually work towards. Any more questions, guys? Woo! Okay. I'm very happy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Last call. Halas? Yes.
I don't have a question, but can I speak to you later?
Yeah, sure. Okay. All right, guys. So I think this concludes the end of the session. It was amazing talking to you guys. Thank you so much for having me.